Hello, listeners. This is Lee Price,
This is Will Ford from Football 365.
and you're listening smartly to At the Bridge Pod, a Chelsea FC podcast, although I would describe it as the Chelsea FC podcast.
Magical from Eden Hazard. Kai Havertz in the Champions League final. Ivanovic! In the middle, it's just behind him. But it's tapped in by Hakim Ziyech. Matic with the ball driver. Matic takes the net off. Hat-trick hero. Cole Palmer wins an epic, sensational game.
It's time for another episode of At the Bridge Pod, your number one Chelsea FC podcast. Coming up on this episode, has anyone seen Manchester United?
Oh, welcome back, everyone, to another episode of At the Bridge Pod. And I am joined in a virtual room filled with some lions. I've got Chris. Obviously, Ollie has decided to get the immune system of Chris and I. That's what he's decided to. So that's why he's not here. But Chris, we're well. So what was your moment of the weekend?
Got to be the Women's FA Cup final.
Did you go?
I did. What a day.
Oh, I'm so jealous.
What a day.
Like,
It wasn't sunny and warm though, like I was expecting it to be. It was cloudy and windy, and quite cold. But aside from that, was a really, really good day.
I can only imagine from what I saw on the TV. I mean, this was an FA Cup final, which we will go into. It wasn't just it's nervy occasion. This was pure brilliant. I mean, we all know the scoreline. You don't do that in a cagey affair if you didn't dominate. And sometimes the scoreline lies. That game, the scoreline didn't lie. Not
No,
at
it did
all.
not.
For me, I spent my Saturday in the Forest of Dean with my girlfriend. That was really a gorgeous woodland. Honestly, it's in Gloucestershire, listeners, if you wondered, because obviously not everyone is from the UK who listens. It's really nice. It's a really, really nice place. Google it. It's worth it. It's worth looking at. You'll never be able to visit if you don't live in the UK, but just Google it and then go, oh, I'm jealous now.
Filmed some of Harry Potter there as well, didn't they?
I do not, and I like Harry Potter, and clearly I didn't know that. As I
think they
quickly,
did.
I feel like that's probably. Let's have a look. The author lived there. Oh yeah, it's inspired a lot of. Yeah, you're right. Well,
Yeah.
look at that. Well, nice.
Learn something new every day.
I did. Weekend though, the football. I'm a little greedy because I've got highlights. I've got Julian Alvarez's free kick for Atletico against Real Betis. That was so good. Man City and Crystal Palace's medics having a scrap in the cup final.
Yeah,
I loved
that
that.
was funny.
I thought that was fun. I've never seen two medics square up before. I've never known I've wanted to see something so much before in my life. It was brilliant. And finally, Everton men. They're saying goodbye to Goodison Park. And whenever a club says goodbye to a stadium, it is always moving. And I must say, I love that the club have decided to not demolish the ground, but to make it the home of the women's team. And I've seen some bullshit online from people going, oh, they won't be able to sell it out. It's not cost. Shut up. Shut the fuck
Yeah.
up. Let it grow. You know, you can't. No, don't put a cap on it. We have no idea what the future holds for Everton women. And I'm more than happy to see a beautiful stadium, a historic stadium, be given to an incredible team that could become a big team, like a top team. And this is what I keep saying. When teams have gone on about investment with the women's game, if we invest, you'll see the increase in production and quality with those teams growing and obviously taking on City and Chelsea.
And
let's be
you,
honest.
they might get fans go for nostalgia purposes.
And that's the thing. Look, I said myself on Football 365 recently about the women's game. A lot of people do go to the games just because people go, oh, do men go? They do. If you look around, you will see a brilliant mix of all ages and all genders, and it's incredible. And as well, you see a lot of families go because it's a nicer environment. That's the thing.
Yeah.
It's so there's a reason families go.
And it's affordable.
That so
I don't have to
important.
get out alone to go.
But you don't feel shortchanged because the quality is there.
Yeah,
It's
100%.
it's dramatically increased so much. It really has. Shevva shoutouts, because I have got a fair few. I've got Jamali Smith. I've got treble winners and an unbeaten season. Sonia Bonpastor has to be the best women's manager right now. Oh, Barcelona, I forgot who their manager is. I forgot. I mean, considering that she's walked into this team and done what she's done in one season, it's a fair shout.
It is a fair shout.
Perry Romau. I've butchered that name, but yeah, he's my age. Bloody hell! Wow, he's achieving more than I am. Oh, to be honest, he has only been a manager for a year. He's still achieving a lot. Anyway, KP, Chris said, what if we lose all 6? Oh, no. Only to win the game today. Can he objectively say why Maresca is a bad fit when all the numbers point in a different way? He's got stats. 4th best defense in the league. 20 goals conceded less than last season with Sanchez. 2nd most big chances created. 2nd most big chances missed. 2nd on XG. All this with Jackson as our only senior striker.
Right. Do you know, every year, at least one team rambles on about XG and big chances created and chances against and outperforming XG against, and it's like, just watch football with your eyes, because what I hate about these stats is they are subjective in themselves. Like, everyone takes them like they're matter of fact, but XG is made up. Someone made it up, and someone decides how big of an XG chance a chance is. Like, you'll see it. Someone will miss a tap in from 6 yards, and that'll be the only chance that team has in the game. But that should be an XG of 1, because that player should score. And at the end of the game, it'll be XG 0.2. And you think, how? He missed an open goal. What are you on about? Like, even a penalty only has an XG of something like 0.8. How? How does it? It's a free shot from 12 yards against the goalkeeper.
Yeah, I see your point.
So all of these stats are great, but I watch football with my eyes. Do I like watching us play? No.
Wow. J998R-GB. Jokanovic saved from the worst team by the time period. Truly awful for us. Was that Was he the one who was the Fulham manager?
Yeah.
I always get my player. Look, you know me. I remember him. I don't remember him playing for us. So when was that? That'd have been 2000, 2002. I would have been 8. Yeah, that's 7, 8. Yeah. No, I don't remember him playing. I'm guessing he was shit.
Yeah, terrible manager too.
He was at. Look at this. He went from Fulham to Al Gharafa to Sheffield United and then Dynamo Moscow. I have no memory of that. Wow. Well, we all know why the Russian league's not talked about. So,
yeah.
Corey, prayers and positive thoughts for all the Lions' loved ones. Cheers from Jacksonville, Florida. We'll send them to birth. We'll send them to birth for sure. He appreciates those. Thank you as well for. Aside from that comment, actually. Thank you. We've seen so much on Discord, Twitter, and all socials for birth, and that is I've passed them all on, and he's genuinely really grateful and appreciative of it. So yeah, that's why we have an awesome community and listenership. So yeah, thank you for that, listeners. And Corey he goes, Mikey, I've had 5 jobs plus since COVID. Fuck them all. I was the America that had an undefeated Pez team with Lampard as coach. Oh bloody hell. Oh, Lampard is undefeated. Wow. And Elhouse 75. Great shout for Roma, to be fair. Enzo is their ideal coach. They will need Raheem Sterling and Nkunku to fully unlock his tactics. He's going to cook with those boys at Roma. He will. But I've got to be careful now, because if he achieves Champions League, I don't know who we're going to get. Ranieri. He might have a manager swap deal.
Yeah.
Oh, bloody hell. Right. We have got a little bit of news. So with that, the quickest of bulletins when it comes to the news for this episode, but it would be poor of me if I didn't pound the drum for this news. Victor Gyokeres, the hottest striker in Europe right now, will be available for transfer this summer for 65 million euros. That's roughly 55 million British pounds. I personally do want this man at any cost this summer. He is the striker in my eyes that would elevate us up more than just a level, but Chris, what are your thoughts? I saw it on Fabrizio and I thought, I will talk about it because other than that, Vahalovic, and I don't think we'd bring him in.
Um, this reminds me a bit of when Haaland was available for so cheap.
Ooh.
Um, and we fumbled that deal.
Hmm.
I think we've got to go all out for this one. Um, I know there's still some people who are saying that he's a risk, but you would have said the same about Haaland.
Mm.
That's the reality because he'd only done it, in Austria and the Bundesliga. So it's one of them where you have to take the risk eventually. And it's a calculated risk when you look at his numbers. His numbers aren't just good, they're insane.
Mm.
If he was scoring 20 goals a season in Portugal, I'd think, yeah, that is still quite a lot of money, really. But he's scoring 40, 50, 60 goals a year. Like those numbers are insane.
Oh yeah.
And I don't think you just lose that knack of scoring that amount of goals overnight just because you moved to a different league. Even half his goals, and he's still getting more. He's still getting 20 or more in
Yeah.
the Premier League. So
Mm.
at that price, I think it's an absolute no-brainer. You don't pick up players of his quality for £55 million anymore.
No, look, I think it'll come down to wages because the fee is what the fee is. We know it's a release clause, and he's also going to, rightly so, choose a Champions League club, and he has every right to do that because of what he's put on paper already. I have one concern, and just one concern alone. The League of Portugal worries me. It doesn't scare me like the Bundesliga, and I'm going to touch on that in a minute. It doesn't scare me. Just I get a little bit shaky. I'm like, whoa, because look at strikers who left that league as superstars and then they tanked elsewhere. So, got to say it, João Felix, Darwin Núñez, Jackson Martinez. I mean, for example, I've got Núñez. Someone pointed this out to me. Núñez bagged 26 in 28 before Liverpool. Martinez, before obviously Atletico Madrid came calling, 67 in 90. I was like, I remember these. However, Gyokeres' Champions League record does calm me down a little bit. 6 in 8. The only impressive game, though, was his hat-trick against Man City. That's a small sample size, I know. However, I don't know. I would put if we can get Osimhen, get Osimhen. If we can get Gyokeres, get Gyokere. You don't want to be left with nobody. And I've only just seen on Twitter, just popped up, and I could cry at this. Hugo Ekitike, Frankfurt want at least 100 million euros for him. What? How can
I
you
won't go
justify
anywhere
that?
near that.
That's insane. The justification for that. I don't know how they can justify that.
No, I understand what you're saying there as well about Gyokere, and I suppose people have the same problem with Osimhen in terms of, Serie A isn't as strong as it used to be, and then he's had a good season, but it's in Turkey.
Mm.
But I think those concerns would be more valid if there was actually a striker market, but there isn't.
No.
So even if those two don't turn out to be as good as everyone expects, they are still the best on the market. So anyone else you sign, regardless of how bad or good they do, everyone else you sign would have been less quality than them.
Yeah. What bugs me as well, Hugo. Look, at the end of the day, a club, if he doesn't have a release clause in the contract, has every right to charge what they want for a player, whether we feel they're valued at that or not. It's like the Wilfred Zaha saga when people went, he's not an 80 million pound player, whatever. No. However, if the club value him at that, because without him they'll get relegated, what's the cost of that into their, you calculate it all up. It's their choice. However, let's be clickbait about it. 100 million euros, that's what he's got to be paying. He's got 15 in 30 Bundesliga games this season. I'm not touching that. Last season, 4 in 14. I'm not taking the risk.
No, that's not great.
I'm not impressed enough.
Very, very weak defensive league.
I'm not impressed by those stats, and I just don't see 100 million euro value for us at least.
And you know what concerns me most about signing players from the Bundesliga as well? It's you have literally no reference point to how their numbers translate. So 15 in 30 is 1 in 2, which you would say as a striker is good. That's what you ask for really from a striker, 1 in 2. And he's only young.
Mm.
And you say, okay, if he could translate that to the Premier League, take a couple off, maybe he goes down to 1 in 3. At his age and still with time to develop, would it be that bad? Probably not. But there's a chance that those numbers transfer to like 1 in 6, 1 in 7. Because like you look at someone like Michael Elise, for example, was never really a massive goal scorer in the Premier League. I don't know what his best season in the Premier League was, but it wasn't ridiculous amounts of goals. He was always more of a creator than a goal scorer. He's gone to Bayern Munich. He scored 18 goals in the Bundesliga. So straight away, I'm thinking, fuck me, it must be easy to score over there.
But well, that's the thing, isn't it? You just have to be careful. You have to be careful. So I'm hoping there'll be more news Friday. Listeners already know we're going to do that really interesting Wonder Kid episode where we look at Wonder Kids that Chelsea have been linked with, and we have no idea who they are. So that's going to be some fun research for me. I'm more so pronouncing names because I've there's one player, Argentina. I have no idea how I'm going to say
Yeah,
his
they'll
name.
all be South American and
Yes.
they'll all have names that have 16 vowels in them.
Yes, probably. We get to take a trip to Kingsmeadow Corner. Oh, yes. And it's sadly for the final time this season because Chelsea, they took on Manchester United in the FA Cup final. Chelsea 3, Manchester United 0. Wembley bathed in blue. 3 goals sealed the treble dream. Chelsea women reign. Chris, you were on the ground for us. Thoughts on this game?
Do you know what? We actually didn't start the game very well. First 20 minutes, our left-hand side especially was very shaky. The combination of Baltimore, Charles and Germa just didn't quite work, I don't think. I didn't think Niamh Charles had a very good game throughout, to be honest. I thought she never really got up to speed with the game. After 20 minutes, though, we completely controlled the game. And after the first goal, absolute stonewall penalty, by the way. After the first goal, it's like that really settled us down. And I think second half was the best we've played in it, probably since the Man City second leg. Complete control over the game, gave them absolutely nothing except for the header right at the start of the second half. But after that, they did nothing. Didn't look like scoring a goal, had complete control. We was creating chances. So many players playing well. Cuthbert everywhere. Kira Walsh doing understated things, like things that not everyone will pick up on, but her ball retention was brilliant. Baltimore really grew into the game, and I mean, I think she was robbed of not getting player of the match, if I'm honest.
Mad.
And then Macario came on, and I thought it was a weird sub to take Ramirez off after 55 minutes. Easily the best game I've seen Macario have in a Chelsea shirt. She looked strong, quick, bullied the centre-backs, header was brilliant, hold-up play was fantastic, linking with her teammates. Thought she was brilliant when she came on. And then I thought Aggie Beaver-Jones, first half, best player on the pitch. If we was gonna, it looked like if something was gonna happen, it was gonna come through her, and she is an absolute star. Aggie Beaver-Jones.
Speaking of that, oh, sorry, I accidentally I clicked on the Chelsea women's game to see the stats so I could back up the Aggie Beaver-Jones. Somehow I got a highlights package pop up at the same time. Carry on, Chris.
Brilliant. Yeah, overall, brilliant game, brilliant performance, brilliant season. Yeah. There's nothing to dislike about this team.
No, I mean, what more can you say? Like Sonia Bonpastor's come in under a shadow of Emma Hayes' legacy. It's massive. I mean that legacy is it's untouchable. It's incredible, and yet she's already started her own legacy in just 39 games. I mean, an unbeaten domestic season, a treble, a convincing treble. No half measures, just pure class. And oh, I'm so happy. You've said her name. I'm so happy I get to say Sandy Baltimore. I said from the day we signed her, best name to ever say. It's a great name. And her name lived up to her ability. Her ability lived up to her name even. Because I've championed her from day one when we signed her. She's proven anyone who doubted her wrong each time she's laced up her boots and she's walked onto the field. And this was her final. She got not one, not two, but all three goal contributions. You know, two goals and assist in a cup final. That's just peak wild. That's incredible. That's coming up. That's what we used to. You know, we got Drogba for the men. For the women, we had Sam Kerr. It's that level of playing big game energy, and she did. And she brings life to the team. She brings the energy. She is the best French signing this team have made since Sonia Bonpastor. It's an incredible duo. It's true. You know, she's genuinely the signing of the season and the player of the English women's season in my eyes. I mean, you messaged me and said about that I called it on the Friday. I was just convinced because she's just been wherever you play her, she's outstanding. Wow, how we picked her up, how no one else thought we're going to go all in. We're brilliant at signings. That is something we're brilliant at. Even like Germa, and she looks good. I mean, she's a good player. But it's the thing is, how many times have we seen in just general football a big signing with big money and big a tag on them, and they just completely flatline. They can't handle it. When we do it, as the Chelsea women, when they do it, you just know, oh, it's going to be another world-class signing. They're going to play brilliantly. They're going to be a future cog. You just know.
And you know what? You know what I think it is? The environment they come into is so good.
Oh, yeah.
You know, you look at Germa, and like I said, first 20 minutes in this game, she struggled. But she's playing next to someone like Millie Bright, who was outstanding, by the way. I don't think she lost a duel all game. And she certainly didn't lose a header all game.
Well, I was told on Twitter the other week that she's holding this team back from the Champions League.
Yeah, well, that's just absolutely insane. Yeah, so like Germa was struggling in this game, but then you've got players around her. You know, even like Charles, who's very experienced, and then Cuthbert's playing in front of her, Walsh is playing in front of her, Millie Bright's playing next to her. Hannah Hampton, by the way, as well, is another one who's a big personality and really good personality to have around, as well as being a class goalkeeper. But her personality is really good, and you could see them just easing her into the game. And then, like I said, she got better as the game went on. And I think that's why we don't see many players flop for Chelsea women, because those leaders are there to help them through. So if it isn't going great to start with, I think we're also very good at, we don't have to throw them in straight away and put them under loads of pressure. They can be eased in, and they can be rotated out if they're not quite up to speed. And I think everything about the women's team is just run perfectly.
Yeah. Oh, couldn't agree more. And let's end it with a stat. Sonia Bonpastor is just the third manager to win a domestic treble in the WSL era, after Laura Harvey for Arsenal in 2011 and Emma Hayes for Chelsea in 2021. That, first of all, that stat alone tells you how difficult it is. Three managers have done it, and look at the gap. Obviously, we did it back to within 4 years, so you know. But 2011, and then it took 10 years for another one. It's hard to do it, and we've been dominant, and yet we haven't done it. We've done it once, and that was 21. And obviously, Sonia, she's won 3 trophies, overseeing the first ever unbeaten season in a 22-game WSL campaign, and set the record points total in a WSL season, 60. And I believe that would instantly make it the first ever time an unbeaten domestic treble in 22 games as well, because we didn't lose a single. Amazing.
And like, we stayed after for all the celebrations and stuff, and the players coming round, and Sonia just gets it. She was one of the first people to come round to the fans. She was showing a real personality. She just gets it. You can see that she's ingratiated herself with the fans already. And that's difficult to do when you're following on from someone like Emma Hayes, who's been there for so long and was such a fan favourite.
Yeah.
The winning helps, obviously,
Yeah. Always.
but I do think she's got a really good personality. Like the Guru Reuten was waiting to come on as a sub as we scored the third goal.
Mm.
And bear in mind, Reuten is someone who is more than good enough to start, by the way, and hasn't been getting many minutes. And it probably is a big personality in the group. She's been here a long time. She's a big player, and she's not been playing very many minutes at all at the moment. The embrace between Sonia and Guru when the third goal went in, they was hugging each other, they was having a laugh and a joke, and you can see that there's just a real togetherness, and that all with the manager. And even though it's a squad full of players who are more than good enough and could go and play and start for any other team in the league,
Yeah.
they believe in her and they believe it and they want to be at Chelsea. And that togetherness is why we can rotate our squad and it makes no difference at all. And I think that's something really special. And I think that honestly is something that's so difficult to get and you don't see very much in football. And we've got it. And that's why if we keep that, there's no reason why success won't continue.
100%. Right, it's time to head for winners and losers because we welcomed. They are a football team, despite what you might think they are. But Manchester United, the men's team, who are nothing like the women's team, who are actually good at football. This is this is Manchester United somehow. Yes. But anyway, we took them on in a game that I said we would win. Reece James spun like a vinyl in a jazz club, clipped a pass to Marc Cucurella. Yes, that Marc Cucurella who nodded Chelsea into the Champions League conversation with a header full of chaos and beauty. With Nicholas Jackson suspended and Tyreek George up top looking like a deer in LED headlights, Stamford Bridge grew a bit nervy. But then came Cucurella, the unlikeliest of goal-getters, or maybe the most likeliest considering his season. He popped up like a forgotten tab in your browser to steer Chelsea to a gritty 1-0 win over a Manchester United side doing a full impression of a collapsing sandcastle. It comes down to the final day, Nottingham Forest versus Chelsea. One more win for Chelsea and we finally get Champions League football we've so desired. Oh, Chelsea 1, Manchester United 0. I told you we'd win. I told you. And who have you got and how many have you got?
3 and 3.
Yes, I have. I've got 3 and 3. Of course, it's in my usual wacky style, but Chris, I'm gonna let you start. I'm gonna be nice. Not. I've got my glory. I was right when I said we'd win. Go ahead.
Reece James.
What a move.
The one moment of real quality in the game. Not just the spin, but to execute that spin and then such a good ball into the box is just a reminder of why this guy should be playing as a fucking right back.
Yeah.
Because he has so much quality in that final third with his delivery that he can find someone like Cucurella who's like 5'5", and he can put it in a place where he doesn't have to beat a centre back to head the ball into the goal because the ball has beat them already. It's such a good ball, and it was just begging to be headed in, and Cucurella obliged. But that was really the one moment of quality in the whole game. And big players step up in big moments. Some fair play to James.
Yeah. You know what? It's sort of my winner. I've got the goal. Because I couldn't narrow it to down just Cucurella or Reece James because they were both crucial to the goal, which that's kind of true of all goals, really. You kind of need an assist and a goal scorer. But whatever. The point I'm trying to make is that the turn Reece James made to lose Garnacho, I called it Johan Cruyff-esque. It was gorgeous. And the run of Cucurella to lose his man and power home the header was delightful. And it's a goal that I could just watch over and over again, like the box set of Friends and not get bored. It was amazing. And it was a shame it took so long, but moment of quality. It was beautiful. It was beautiful. So with that, I'll go for my second winner. I got the steward. You know, he knows who he is. He might even be a listener. And if you are, please, I am begging you, right? I am begging you right now. Let us know. Please, that'd be so cool. Please. They went viral within moments of that WWE style spearing of a pitch invader. It was like watching a prime Brian Dawkins. If you know any fans of the NFL, they know who I mean. It was like, here comes the boom, and here comes a lifetime stadium ban for the other guy as well. So yeah, he did his part. He's killed that extra added time, but of course at the cost of never being able to see us in person again, probably. Right, Chris, who have you got as your second winner?
Caicedo.
Great game.
Yeah, bloke's unbelievable. I don't really know what more we can say about Caicedo. Like, as much as we have people almost permanently on the losers list, he could permanently be on this winners list because the guy, even on a bad day, is a 7 out of 10. So it's not a bad day. He is unbelievable. I still think he's underrated outside of Chelsea fans. Rival fans, I think, still like to pretend like he isn't worth the money that we paid, but he is. He is worth that money because this team would be nowhere without Caicedo. I think if you take him out of this team this season, we're nowhere near top 4. That's how good he is. It would be the exact same as taking Rodri out of Man City, and we've seen what's happened to them. That's what would happen if we took Caicedo out of this team. He is that important. He is our most important player.
I find it almost laughable. I don't know whether it's just because it's Chelsea involved, and you know people hate Chelsea. You know, people hate when clubs that have a history of winning. I mean, we do that. But people say that Declan Rice is value for money. Is that because he scored 2 free kicks against Real Madrid? I'd love to see him score from the halfway line, which is an anniversary of today, apparently. That was a year ago today that Caicedo did that insane goal, and I saw Berth react to it in a pub. The thing is, Caicedo, I'd say he's value for money now. You can't say he's not. If a player is, as you just said, you take him out, oh my word, he's value for money. It doesn't matter whether it was 50 million or 100 million. He's value for money.
Yeah. And the thing is, Declan Rice does score more goals than Caicedo, and I do think Declan Rice is better going forward than Caicedo. But Caicedo's better at everything else. So I don't think it's fair necessarily to say one is massively better than the other. I think that's slightly different players. But if I was to pick one in terms of having the biggest impact on a team, Caicedo's that one. Caicedo is as close to Kante as you can get without it being Kante.
Wow.
And no one was talking about Kante's lack of goals. I just think because Kante didn't cost us 115 million. And that is the one thing that people will always throw at Caicedo. But people who actually have a brain and understand football in the slightest and aren't just being knobheads will understand how good he is.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, I'm looking at the stats now. Yeah, he does have more goals and assists. However, that's kind of his MO. That's what Declan Rice will eventually be, I think, more of a, like a, not, I'm going to get shot for this, but more like a Frank Lampard style player going into the box and doing that sort of thing that Lampard used to.
Yeah.
Not that level, but you get what I'm trying to get with.
It's another thing of Declan Rice got typecasted as a holding midfielder because that's what he did for England.
Yeah.
But if you watched him play for West Ham, he was a box-to-box player. He went box-to-box for West Ham. He didn't sit in front of the back 4 at West Ham. He went box-to-box. That's why he got goals for them and got assists for them. So it's completely different. They're not the same. They're not the same player.
And you're right. Declan Rice versus Caicedo is a pointless argument because I've got stats in front of me which tell you exactly. So Rice has more shots. He has more goals, more assists. However, blocks, you'll know straight away. Blocks, he's made 2 more than Caicedo. However, interceptions 25 to 49, tackles 53 to 110, successful tackles 25 to 70. There you go. That tells you who plays more defensively.
Exactly.
So Yeah, let's be sensible.
And
Right,
Rice is a great player, by the way.
yeah, he is. No one's. No, I'm not saying he's shit. No,
Yeah.
but it's one of them. It's pointless to compare because they both do a different job role for each club. So
You could have both of them playing the same team and it would work. That's how you know they're not the same player.
yeah, you're right. Actually, you're 100% spot on. Yeah. My final winner is it's at the Bridge Pod. Yes, six long years and over 500 episodes. We are finally declaring the podcast itself a winner. Well, I am. Why? Enzo Maresca listens to winners and losers. How do we know? Simple. On our episode after the 2-0 defeat to Newcastle, I said at minute 36 and 25 seconds, you can check. And I quote, I said, if Tyreek George starts against Manchester United, we'll forever claim Maresca listens to this podcast. Well, he did. And now we are. And he played in the role I thought he would, which was brilliant. So an honourable mention, of course, goes to me, because I was also the only one brave or deluded, some might have claimed, to say that we'd beat this Man United side. And we didn't just beat them. We took them out like a bag of soggy rubbish after being moaned at for 3 days. Job done. And one final cherry on top. The biscuit bet came in. I said in a What's More Likely that Chelsea would win more points in the final 4 league games than Romeo Lavia would have Premier League appearances since returning from injury. We're on 6 points now. Lavia's on 4 appearances. Means he cannot eclipse 6. Biscuits are mine. Custard creams have never tasted so sweet. I am one arrogant little shit right now. Chris, round off your winners for us.
I've got Tosin and Colwill as a partnership.
I was told to do a stat drop on Tosin.
I thought both of them played really well. I thought they looked really solid, dealt with Man United's threats on the counter-attack reasonably well, won their individual battles, did really help that they're up against Højlund, who I think is possibly one of the worst defenders I've ever seen. And do you know what? I actually feel sorry for Højlund because I thought in Italy, he looked good. Then he came over, and I actually thought he looked decent for Man United at the start. But to come over with that price tag at his age and to be thrown into a situation where a club like Man United are pinning all their hopes on him, it's just unfair. And you're just seeing what happens when you put that amount of pressure on someone who's 19 and got a £75 million price tag on them in like their second season as a professional footballer. It's insane. So I do feel sorry for him, but yeah, he's fucking horrendous. And the sooner he gets out of Man United, the better for him because he's gonna throw his career away if he stays there.
I will touch on that in losers for a reason. So
yeah, but I do think Tosin and Colwill. I think Colwill's had a few good games in a row now, and then
surprised a lot.
Yeah,
I think, as well.
I think he's really hit form at the back end of the season. So fair play to him for that. And I thought Tosin coming in for Chalobah turned out to be the right call as well because he came in and played really well.
Yeah, 100%. Losers. Oh, I start with mine. I've got diving. Some do call it diving. I call it for what it is. It's called cheating. And the suspects I've got in my courtroom this week, I've got Tyreek George and I've got Amad Diallo. Scratch that, of course. No suspects. There's no suspects because these 2 players were caught red-handed. George's dive was almost too clever, as they call it. You know, if he'd have leaned in a bit more, he probably gets the penalty. Doesn't make it right, and I do not condone it from other players. I'm not going to just do double standards and say, no. I didn't like it, and I still can't stand this whole being smart to win spot kicks. I get it, but I don't like it. As for Diallo, that was just pure theatre. Hand him his BAFTA because, props to Caicedo. Actually, you know, we touched on him having a good game. He pulled his leg away because he could see the simulation coming in slow motion. He knew, you could tell Caicedo's a clever guy. He looked and thought, you're going to go down. I'm moving my leg. So I'm going to say stop dressing it up. It's cheating. And I'm glad that neither were penalties. I really am. Chris, first loser for yourself.
Well, it kind of ties in. I've got Tyreek George.
Oof.
The dive, not good. I remember how annoyed, especially Ollie was about the Liam Delap one away at Ipswich.
You sure that was a foul? That was a foul, wasn't it? I mean, he was pretty fouled, wasn't he? We're told.
Yeah. So I think we'd be hypocritical to get that annoyed at that and then condone what George did. It was a dive. He's tried to win a penalty, but he's done it very poorly. That it's obvious that it's not going to be one. And he just had no impact on the game at all. Like I can't really remember him touching the ball except for when he touched it round Onana and then fell over. I don't remember him touching the ball again. And yes, he's not a striker, but he has had more of an impact playing there before than he did in this game. I just thought it was a take your opportunity moment, and he didn't.
100%. I've got my second loser, and it is everything before the 71st minute. It was just another 70 minutes of boring football. And I know Manchester United are total trash, but we didn't help too much to improve that stink, did we? It was a genuinely boring game of football. And it was the total opposite of an advert for the Premier League, they say. I mean, if a football match was a tin of paint, I'd call this one from up to the 71st minute vanilla beige. And the Discord agreed. They weren't entertained. And, I don't know what you thought of the game in general with that.
Oh, dog shit.
We won.
Honestly.
Wow.
Yeah, again, it's another one of them where the only reason people aren't talking about how shit we was is because we won the game 1-0. And ultimately, yeah, sure, I get what everyone's saying. Results at this time of the season are the most important thing, blah, blah, blah. And that is true.
Mm.
But these performances can't continue. They just can't. Like, long term, that's not good enough. This game against Man United was not good enough. Like, they are absolutely fucking woeful, by the way. Like, there were some people going, oh, we've won another big game. But no, that's 16th in the league. They've lost 18 games this season. 18 out of 37.
Yeah.
That's horrendous. They should be getting relegated. They haven't even hit 40 points.
I know, it's insane, isn't it, when you think about that?
Yeah.
Like, how?
Back in the early 2000s, they're going down. So, honestly, don't talk to me about them. Yes, they have a big club in name only, because this season they are absolutely fucking woeful. And I'll be honest with you, they was absolutely shit, but we didn't look any better. And that's what concerns me more than anything. The fact that, yeah, we're managing to scrape enough results together to probably get top 5. But longer term, it's got to get better. You can't have Cucurella being your top goal scorer in the year. Like, you just can't. That's not right. We didn't create anything. This is against a Man United team who leak goals for fun, and we didn't create anything of note until the first goal, and then Madueke missing a sitter straight after that. But aside from those 2 chances, we created nothing. Reece James hit an unbelievable half volley from the edge of the box that hit the post. That was it.
Yeah.
Which isn't a chance created. That's just a good effort from a quality player. Like, it wasn't anything created. Like, we did absolutely nothing. And I just think, performance-wise, if Cucurella's header doesn't go in, no one's happy with the performance.
No. Well, I'm certainly not. I can't lie and go it was all right, because it wasn't. That's the thing.
Yeah.
Can you name me the 7 clubs that they've beaten Manchester United have this season? I'm having to quickly Google it as I said it.
Southampton will be one.
Southampton, they won 3-0 in game week 4, match day 4.
Yeah. Everyone beats Southampton. That doesn't count. Did they beat Ipswich at home? Because they drew away. So I'm going to say Ipswich at Old Trafford.
Yes. They have also done the double over 2 teams this season.
Who else have they beat?
Which is mad who the other team are, because you'd consider this other team a good team.
Okay, now.
But basically, if you said Leicester are in there. They did the double over them. But there's another team who are they're near are they the top half now? I think they might be in the top half.
Fulham.
Fulham, yeah, they did the double over Fulham, and you've got one more London-based club, and ironically, another club in the upper echelons of the league table.
Palace.
They know Brentford and Man City.
Wow.
Yeah, and if you think, when did they beat Man City, Mike? It was during that period where Man City were shit, and we gave them all our points.
Yes, I
Yes.
remember. Yeah, yeah.
Well, we'll win. No, we won't. No, we won't. Oh dear. Chris, who's your second or final loser? Whichever. Can't remember.
Second is.
Go on.
Well, second, for everything I just said before, that's why I had Maresca on there.
Oh.
Because, yes, he's getting the results, but the performances aren't getting any better. And the players' performances aren't really getting any better. So my final loser is just the rest of the attack. I've seen a lot of praise for Madueke after this game and after the Newcastle game. Why? The bloke's running down blind alleys and having no end product. I mean, this game alone, his shooting again was absolutely horrendous. He's played slightly better on the left, but I think people were like talking about him like he's the reincarnation of Damien Duff. It's like, calm down. Like, fuck me. Like,
Where is he going in Ireland to win the Ireland title with? That's
Yeah.
what I know.
Do you know what? I do worry sometimes about the standards of some of our fans, though. Like, you have Madueke, he beats a defender twice, and everyone goes, oh, he was absolute class, Madueke. What did he do when he beat a defender twice? Well, nothing. His cross was absolute shit, or he put it out of play. Oh, brilliant. Well, don't beat the player then. Fucking pointless. He's been okay, but let's face it, for the main part, second half of the season, our attack has been absolute trash. Doesn't matter who it is either. They've each had glimpses where they've looked all right, but overall their consistency's been fucking horrendous. Nicholas Jackson spent more time on his phone or getting sent off than scoring.
Yeah.
You know, Madueke looks like he's playing in a phone box. Neto's put more crosses in than I've crossed the road. And then Cole Palmer. Cole Palmer had a brilliant game against Liverpool and everyone thought he was back, and then he's disappeared again for 2 games. Our attack really worries me because it's not one player, it's not 2 players, not 3 players. We're talking 4, 5, 6 players who are playing in forward areas who are doing nothing. And it's a real concern because, like I said, going forward longer term, Maresca's got to find a way to get these players to play well. It's no good having full control over the game by dominating possession if you never look like scoring a goal. Like, relying on Cucurella to keep scoring us goals is just fucking ludicrous. It's like when we was doing it, when we've been through periods like this before, where Marcus Alonso was the only player who looked like he could score a goal, or
good times,
or back to the days when Jorginho would be our top goal scorer through scoring 6 penalties. You know, back then, everyone was on the same page that what was happening wasn't good enough. But now it's like, oh, but we're creating, look at our XG chances created. Yeah, I have. That's shit. Like, I look at it sometimes at the end of a game and you look at our XG and it's somewhat ridiculous, like 2.4. And you think, I don't remember those chances at all.
Made up stat.
Yeah, because that's what I mean. Like, if you can't remember off the top of your head the really good chances that you missed, they weren't really good chances then.
Yeah, you're not wrong. You're not wrong.
And you know, yes, we have had games where we've missed chances, but I do think sometimes we're very much now in a sort of constant loop with our fan base of, as soon as a player in a game misses a chance, let's say we have the first really good chance of the game and Jackson misses it. And then the opposition go at the other end and score. Our constant loop Even if we create no other chances that game, we could go the rest of that game, lose 1-0, not have a single other shot on target or chance created. And the narrative will be, wow, we missed too many chances. We missed one.
We're very good at missing.
Every team misses chances, though. This isn't a new thing. Like, did you watch any of the FA Cup final?
Well, I did. Yeah, I watched it, and
Yeah.
hey,
Look how many chances Man City missed in that game.
yeah,
Look how
Palace
many
only needed
chances
one
Palace.
moment.
Yeah, but look how many chances Palace missed in that game. Every team misses chances. Not many teams consistently score the amount of chances that they have. If they did, then football would be really boring. Because if you had teams scoring every chance they got, every game would be 6-6. It's unrealistic.
It's ironic because I've just quickly pulled up the FA Cup men's final, and it's a sea of light blue for momentum. There are 2 spikes, one near the 90th minute and Eze's goal, and it gets better. It gets better. Palace, they scored, but they created no big chances. City created 3 big chances and 23 shots. It don't fucking matter. They had 78% possession. It don't matter. They didn't win.
Exactly. Because that is what matters. It's about taking any sort of chances that you do get. And you can harp on all you like about things like XG and, oh, well, we're creating the chances, so we must be playing well. It's just not the case. You watch us play, and this game's a prime example. We're playing an absolutely awful team who's got no motivation for the game either, by the way.
Yes.
They're not playing for anything. They've got the biggest game of their season this midweek. So their whole focus as players would have been on that. They didn't give a flying fuck about this game. And we've beat them 1-0 because Reece James has pulled out an unbelievable cross and Cucurella has pulled out an unbelievable header. But aside from that, we did nothing against a team who don't want to be there. It's not good. You know, the result's brilliant. The result is brilliant. But the performance, when you're looking longer term, the performances the back end of this season have not been good enough. Nowhere near.
My final loser is going to enjoy this. Sir Jim Ratcliffe and his barbecue, because Manchester United picked up 6 yellow cards in the game, and that triggers an automatic £25,000 fine for the club. And that does mean that the barbecue is now likely to be cancelled if, of course, United win the Europa League this week. So you can expect those glass bottles of Heinz tomato sauce to be replaced with the little sachets he's probably took from his local McDonald's when he's gone in for a drink. So he's like, I'll have those. That'll do for the canteen. And you know what? One thing, this is what I said on about earlier about Højlund. One thing that I got from watching this Manchester United side was how post-Ferguson they seemed to turn Darth Vaders into stormtroopers. They completely ruined players. And I can tell you all the players who were at the top, well, at the time, top tier before they made the move. I mean, these were players many wanted to sign because of how they performed at their previous club. And after joining Man United, they've looked like they couldn't hit water if they fell out of a boat. And I've got names. I mean, Angel Di Maria, Alexis Sanchez, Paul Pogba, Memphis Depay, Casemiro, whether you like him or not, Mason Mount, Rasmus Højlund, Joshua Zirkzee, Jadon Sancho, Wilfried Zaha. I mean, these were players who were lighting it up before they walked through the Old Trafford doors. You know, I know we're good people going, oh, Mason Mount shit, but look at what he was at Chelsea. Forget what he is now. Forget all the bullshit what he did with the goodbye video and all that. If we just park that and just look at the player at Chelsea versus at Manchester United, and obviously these other players at their previous clubs and at Manchester United, they were talented. Some were top tier. Some were really sought after. And yet somehow, once they put on that red shirt, it's like their powers are drained, like they've stepped into the wrong side of the force. Anthony, you know, we're going to face him in a week's time. He's the perfect case study. At Ajax, he was a star. Whether he was overpaid or overrated, it don't matter. At United, he became a punchline. He was a footballing meme. He didn't just lose form. He became the setup to a joke nobody wanted to hear. And now he's at Real Betis. Oh, wouldn't you know it? He looks like a footballer again. People are saying, we want him to stay. No one was saying that. Nobody wanted Anthony. And now suddenly he's got a market. You know, United's modern legacy isn't just underachievement. It's taking exciting players and turning them into galactic background noise. And I hate that so much because, like, yeah, I've got a vested interest because Højlund, Drogu. As soon as I saw Drogu was linked with Man United, I'm like, why? No. Because you go there, your career goes to die. Liam Delap, if he wants to go, good on you, mate. You're going to get paid, and your career probably will be dead.
Matthias
Look at
Cunha.
yeah. I just
Just
I
he's
saw
going
that
there,
today.
isn't
Why?
he? Yeah.
Why? I know why. It's still a draw. Manchester United. It's still
It's money.
the name. Well, that also probably helps. You know, when your bank account has a few extra zeros in it, that kind of makes you want to play for a team, I suppose, or sign for them at least. Playing's quite a big step at Man United if you can play football. I mean, look at Andre Onana.
Yeah.
Another one.
You know, we talk a lot as Chelsea fans, and rival fans certainly do talk about Chelsea's recruitment and how many misses we have in in relation to hits.
Mm.
And we've been very critical of the club for that, having more misses than hits. Man United over the last 10 years have been the worst recruited team in football.
Yeah.
They've had more misses than a stormtrooper with a blindfold on.
Yeah, fucking right.
You could probably count on one hand people who you would consider a hit who they've signed over the last 10 years.
Zlatan. That's it. I can only think of Zlatan at the moment.
Yeah, Edison Cavani I thought was another one who did
you know
really
what?
well.
Yeah, actually, you got a shout there. Brilliant he was, been.
Yeah. But
Yeah.
most of the time, Man United sign a player and 12 months later you're going, what the fuck happened to him?
Yeah. It's mad. It's absolute mad. Emojis. I went with thumbs up because onto Forest. That's what matters. We won.
Yeah, I've gone with the number 3. 3 points, and
Yeah.
let's move on. Let's just get this season finished.
You Chris, part 1 of the double season.
No,
Remember?
because I don't care about the Club World Cup. When you've got players coming out saying, I'm probably not going to play in that, it's not a real competition.
I saw about FIFA saying that they can't do that. They're going to expect I'm like, what are you going to do? That's a great incentive. We'll start fining club, and it's going to make clubs really want to go.
But the clubs will just say players are injured.
Yeah, that's the classic. I've got a bad back. Oh no, Mbappe's out. He's got a bad back.
No one will question a Chelsea player being injured. Let's be fair.
No, that's very true. Very true.
On my knee.
Right. We are moving to our Lions of the Week, and I am not happy. I'm pretty not confident with mine. I'm a bit nervous what I picked because I have no memory, and I feel like that's a bad idea if I don't remember. I went with Cole Palmer. He didn't do anything of note.
No shit.
So that's that done. You went with Caicedo. Well done. Ollie went with Chalobah. The wheel.
Didn't play.
the wheel. Cucurella.
Nice.
I don't know. Cucurella got the goal. Caicedo was very good. What do you think?
I think Caicedo had a better game, but Cucurella won us the game. So it's what you value as more important, I suppose.
Yeah, I think you got to go with the Cucurella on that.
Yeah.
You know what? I think the actual line was Reece James.
Yeah, I'd say so. I think that's probably one of his biggest moments since coming back. And it's another game fit. And it's another game where he had an injury scare and didn't have to go off.
Oh my God, when he landed on his knee, all my brain went through my head was that didn't make sense. But what happened was I was thinking, did his ACL, his MCL, his PCL, all the CLs, are they okay? Because it didn't look nice. And you know his history and you just think, oh my God. So that was I'm very grateful for thankfully his knee to holding up. And that was only his second actual line of the week. He's behind Robert Sanchez, for fuck's sake.
Oh,
How has that happened? Oh no. You already know he's still winning. He's pretty far out. It's Caicedo. He's out with 8. He's done really well this season.
Yeah. And like I said, he probably could have won it every week.
Yeah, that is true. That is true. We are going to go to Quaresma's questions, and I hate the other Greg. I think I'm going to give this one straight to you, Chris. I know you're the only one here. Hear me out. Has Gura Wrighton lost her first team place, or has she been returning from injury?
Do you know what? Really good question. And do you know what's really weird? It is the exact same question my daughter asked me yesterday.
I don't think it's her account, but
almost word for word. She
it's
turned
weird,
to me
isn't it?
when Guru was coming on and it was like the 90th minute, she said, has she lost her first team place or is she still coming back from injury?
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know. I think maybe we didn't report the severity of the injury to everybody. I think maybe her back injury was more severe than we perhaps let out into mainstream media. I think the issue is we've gone to sort of this back five system, which has meant Charles has come in as a left sort of wing back, which has pushed Baltimore further forward. And with the form she's in, she's almost impossible to dislodge from the team at the minute. So I think Guru's got to be patient. I think Baltimore, in a way, would probably be better suited to the wing back role. I think she could do that, and then you could get Wrighton in the team as well. I do think it's going to be important to get Guru back in the team if we want her to stay, because she is far too good to sit on our bench. That's the reality of it. Like she genuinely is, and she's still got so much to offer to this team.
And Wrighton is also 30 and she turns 31 this July. She has every right to start to think, well, if you're not going to play me, I don't want to lose. I'm at the other side of my career now.
Exactly. And she'd be a big personality, like I said, to lose as well. So I think we have got to find a way to keep her happy. And I think, considering we dominate most games, moving Baltimore to left wing back, she'd basically play as a winger anyway. Wrighton's very good in that tucked in position, sort of playing sort of inside left. I think that could work. I still think she'll work her way back into the team because she's too good.
Yeah. JRMT, I love the women's questions. We've got another one. I think Baltimore should have been a shout for player of the season. What about you? I championed her, or I still think she. I mean, look, Cuthbert's insane. I love Cuthbert, and it's harsh to take it off someone because, like we've all sort of said it was a team effort this season, not one individual. I still think Sandy stands out. I
agree. The only reason I would give Cuthbert the edge is I do think there was periods earlier in the season, probably where Baltimore was being played as a left back, which isn't her natural position. I do still think there was times earlier in the season where she looked a little bit uncomfortable and didn't have such great games. I think the thing with Erin is she's very much like Caicedo. Even a bad game is a 7 out of 10. And I think that's why she deserved player of the season. I think she's been our most consistent. I think Baltimore's had more highs. So, 9 out of 10 performances. But I think she's probably just had slightly more sort of 5 out of 10 performances than Erin had as well. So I think consistency wise, I'm backing Cuthbert with the award, but Baltimore has been unreal, and it's fine margins we're talking about.
Yeah, that's pretty fair. That's pretty fair. Before we do, you know what? I'm gonna do the slight, a bit of Liam Delap news for you. His representatives already spoke to Man United, but he's expected to enter meaningful discussions with all suitors before taking time to decide his move. What do you? I'm
sorry.
I'm so torn on this. I am.
So go back right to the start of this show.
What, episode 1?
No, just this episode, where we was talking about Gyokeres and Osimhen.
Yeah.
If ever you want to know how dry the striker market is, it's the fact that Liam Delap, who has scored 12 goals, including some penalties, for Ipswich Town, has numerous suitors, should tell you how dry the market is. Because there's so many strikers who have done what he's done, but for some reason, everyone's acting like he's the first striker to hit double figures for a team that gets relegated. Strikers have been doing that for decades. But They didn't all of a sudden have Man United, Arsenal, Chelsea, Liverpool all crumbling for their signature. Fuck me, honestly, it's so dry now, the striker market, that yeah, you Osimhen or Gyokeres, I don't want to hear about Liam Delap. He might turn out to be a superstar, but someone who might turn out to be a superstar is not what we need. We need someone who is already nearly there. And it's one of them too. I don't want to hear about Liam Delap. Yes, would he be a sound investment at 30 million? Yeah, he would be. Would he increase in value? Probably. Is he going to elevate our team? No.
Yeah, I'm not going to disagree there. I'm feeling the same. He's not the same player. However, I remember 20 years ago. Wow, that's old. 20 years ago, when I was a seven. No, I wasn't. I was about what? Come on, Mike, you do your head. 10. I was 10. I remember Andy Johnson for Crystal Palace in the season they went down, and he scored a fuckload of goals. And he did go to Everton eventually. He never hit them heights. And many were like, he could be. No,
No
you just
one linked
you got to be
Andy
careful.
Johnson with Man United, did they?
No, I think they still had Van Nistelrooy in his prime then as well.
No one at Chelsea at that time went, so we should get Andy Johnson. Why?
Yeah, you're right. You're right. You know what? We will do a quick little 20 questions, wrapping the show up. Football 20 questions. You get all 20. So you also get the two guesses as well.
This is
Come
pressure.
on.
Right. Are they retired?
Yeah.
Bollocks.
That's a pretty
Okay.
better sample size, maybe.
Okay. So retired. Here's a question. Probably going to be no. So if the answer's no, it doesn't narrow it down at all. But if the answer's yes, it
Okay.
really narrows it down. Have they ever won a Ballon d'Or?
No. When you find out who it is, you would say they're never going to do it, but they weren't. This player wasn't shit. I'm going to be fair. They were not shit.
Okay. Judging by that, then they was never top tier either. Though. Right.
I suppose.
Did they play in the Premier League?
Yes.
Did they play for a traditional top 6 team?
Yes.
Did they play in red for that team?
No.
So not Liverpool, not Man United, not
Did
Arsenal.
they ever play in red? Well,
Did they play for Chelsea?
no.
Did they play for Man City?
No.
Right.
So you know the team.
Yeah, Spurs.
Yeah.
Fuck me. Retired players for Spurs. Did they play for Real Madrid?
No, it's not. We've had Bale. We've had Bale.
Yeah, I thought we'd had
Modric.
Bale before.
But he's won a
Yeah.
Ballon d'Or. He's won a Ballon d'Or.
And he's not retired.
Nah, that's also true.
Yeah.
That's true. Yeah.
Incredible that he isn't, but he isn't. Fair play to him. Okay. So they play for Spurs in the Premier League. Did they play for another major European team?
No.
Are they best known for their time at Spurs?
Oh, yeah. I'd say so. I can't say no. That would be stupid.
Was they a midfielder?
No.
Was they a striker?
Yes.
Striker, Spurs, retired. Did they play for numerous Premier League teams?
I'll
Like,
check it. Yeah.
More, 3 or more.
They've definitely played for. Yes.
I'm going to go for my first guess, just to
Oh.
rule him out. Is it Jermaine Defoe?
Oh, you've got it in one. Lovely stuff. Lovely stuff. We were linked with him, and I remember really wanting us to
Another
sign
one.
him.
Another one. Can I just say,
So-
Jermaine Defoe, look how many goals he scored. Was he ever linked with a Man United, Arsenal, Liverpool, Chelsea? No.
He was linked with us. I'm pretty sure he was linked with us
Yeah,
before.
but that's probably paper talk. I mean, serious in terms of opened talks, was trying to agree a fee with Tottenham. No, He had Tottenham, West Ham, Portsmouth.
£7.5 million he went to Portsmouth for.
Tell you what, he was unreal for Portsmouth as well, with Peter Quelch up front. What a team that was, by the way, that Portsmouth team.
Oh, yeah. And then obviously we all know that they couldn't keep that together because finances and everything. Yeah. Well, there we go. Listeners, we're at the end of another episode. Thank you, as always, for tuning in. Before we go, proud to remind you about our partnership with Head in the Game. Mental health charity using football to support wellbeing and community. Check them out, headinthegame.co.uk. Also, a quick one. Yes, it was my first day at my new job. Yes, I'm loving it. There you go. If you stay to the end, you're like, finally, that's what we listened for. So, yeah, treat yourself well. We'll be back on Friday. So, till next time, that's us signing off.
You've been listening to At the Bridge Pod, a Chelsea FC podcast. Follow us on Twitter and Instagram by searching for At the Bridge Pod. And if you're listening on Apple or Spotify, leaving us a review is always appreciated.